a Blue Sky 2512 IX charge controller, and once again it is cycling between acceptance mode and float mode. So it was just in float, it just kicked back into acceptance. There are no loads on the system right now. The batteries are completely full. And it's just triggered back into float mode again. It's not actually putting anything I was going to say it's not actually putting anything into the batteries. It's down to where it should hold the float voltage at that voltage. Relay just clicked, but it's actually not putting anything back in yet. And there it's triggered back into acceptance mode and pushed the voltage back up again. So it's been doing this odd behavior periodically for quite some time. I'm going to go in and look at the charge unit status while it's doing this. So it's in float mode. It's not actually producing anything right now. Relay just clicked. And now it's pushing it back into acceptance mode again. Voltage came right back up and then it stopped back into float mode again. Relay click. And there it's in acceptance mode again. And right back into float. So it says it's in float mode, but it's pushing the voltage up much higher. And just for reference, the system has 320 amp hours. I'm sorry, 320 watts of solar input. It's a cloudy day today, and 2 Lifeline 6-volt batteries, 220 amp hours each. So it's a 12-volt battery bank at roughly 220 amp hours. I forget the exact rating. There's essentially no loads on the system. There's a little bit of background load of about a half an amp. It's basically some sensors for overhead light, for overhead fans, and a carbon monoxide monitor, a propane monitor, and small loads like that. I'm going to go ahead and put a small load onto the system, just a single incandescent lamp. It should be supplying some amperage to... No, it's still kicked back into acceptance mode. Previous times when I've applied that load, so it's about 1.5 amp load on the system right now. When I've done that previously, it has caused it to stabilize in float mode as it should be. Very odd behavior. I'm going to add a second light, so we've probably got about 3 amps of load now. And that's what it should be doing, putting just a little bit of amperage in to stabilize it in a float mode at 13.3 volts plus temperature correction. I'm going to turn these lights back off now so it'll be no load. And just for record, I'm going to run through the setup parameters. Oh, we just saw this, but I'll show it anyway. Oh, I've sort of cycled around here. I'd love to hear input on why it's doing this, because it shouldn't be. It seems like it's stressing the batteries extra hard to be continually cycling them up to that acceptance voltage when they're already full.